slowly but surely, we have seen a resurgence, so to speak, or a rising in the popularity of Dungeons and Dragons. And we've seen in a lot of different forms, like Baldur's Gate 3, kind of being a kind of a first-time experience for people dabbling with something similar to what Dungeons and Dragons is. There was the movies that have been out recently, such as Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, and now even Netflix banking on a D&D cinematic universe. And it's really shaping up to be a promising future for the D&D universe and the community. And one thing that, interestingly enough, just came out was a little statement coming out of the head of Hasbro, the parent company of D&D, Chris Cocks, who is apparently all in on artificial intelligence, especially when it comes to enhancing Dungeons and Dragons experiences. He's been using, apparently, AI tools in his own D&D campaigns, and he elaborates that he believes that AI can supercharge the fandom, particularly by enabling easier content creation for players like the dungeon masters, using AI to enhance their campaigns or even customize characters and stories. Honestly, I do believe I understand where he comes from, especially because when we see D&D, a lot of us who don't play it but understand generally what the hobby is, it can be a bit daunting, for newcomers like even myself. I've not played a D&D session yet. I have played Baldur's Gate 3, so to some extent I understand the fundamentals of it and some mechanics, but to play it with the dice and the dungeon master in a group and a campaign, all these things, for me it's daunting, and I know it could have a bit of a learning curve too, that even for me, it would take me quite a bit to get into. There was even a friend of mine who just kind of threw it at me. He's like, hey man, I know you already do a little bit of Game Master on the side for board games and other tabletops. How about you do one for Dungeons & Dragons? And I'll be honest, I tried for a week to hypothetically prep for a campaign for the group, and it just became far too overwhelming for me. And at a certain point, I was dabbling with AI to help fill in the gaps to some extent. And now to hear that from the head of Hasbro himself is a kind of a relief of, maybe, but slowly and surely we can see AI tools implemented in some way to help ease the barrier of entry for newcomers like myself and many others who want to jump into the D&D hobby, because it can be hard. You got to find the right DM, you got to find the right group. All these things have to fall into place for you to have a proper D&D campaign sesh. But here's the thing. While the D&D community has been pretty skeptical about artificial intelligence, especially since Wizards of the Coast, the company behind D&D, has banned the use of AI for official products. But the head of Hasbro's still sees it as a big opportunity for both creativity and business. He envisions a future where D&D players could use AI tools for everything from campaign development to custom art and character creation, helping to bring their stories to life in ways that were never possible before. Now, even though he's been actively experimenting with AI in his own games, he is excited about how it could make it easier for regular players and DMs to create their own adventures. And so you got both sides here. You got perhaps the D&D hardcore people who are like, nah, keep that AI stuff out. It's all about originality. It's all about self-insert. It's about the human touch, the human flavor. We don't need AI to do those other things. But then on the other side, you got, AI being seen as the great leveler, making it easier for anyone, regardless of skill level or resources, to participate in content creation. He believes if we can get more people into the hobby, then it's great for business and it's great for the community, And so, in some way, there's definitely a financial upside in his perspective. And so, it's really two sides of the coin here, or a double-edged sword, if you will. I can see that, yeah, AI tools can be great to make D&D more accessible and bring in new players, especially for players like myself and others who find it extremely overwhelming with complex rules and storytelling and character creation processes. But we see the joy and fun that comes out of D&D sessions when we see these groups post their best highlights online. You know, Critical Role is a great example of, you know, just D&D perfected in a way. And so we don't know what Hasbro has in store for this kind of stuff, but it seems like it could potentially, I wouldn't be surprised if they announce something where they start, you know, publishing or releasing some sort of AI toolkits that come along with D&D guidebooks or preset campaign books that roll out throughout the year, you know, through seasonal releases or every single year. But definitely what is certain, D&D is becoming bigger. It's becoming more popular. People are interested. They want to jump into it. And Hasbro, the head of Hasbro, wants to make it easier and more accessible to newcomers and players to jump into it. If AI could help with this process, then perhaps we could be seeing a lot more of it implemented, or some leniency to some extent being implemented for future D&D releases. But do let me know, if you are someone who plays Dungeons and Dragons, what is your thoughts on artificial intelligence being implemented into this hobby? And is it good? Is it bad? Or is it just downright ugly? Whatever it is, share your thoughts and opinions right here on the Evening Buzz. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with more news and highlights from the world of entertainment right here on Pulse 95.